Hello and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Fabric, and in today's video we are going to look at the newly released feature in September 2024, that is T-SQL Notebooks. Yes, Notebooks has been enabled to run T-SQL and we are going to have a look at it. Let me jump onto the release notes. I am here on the release notes of announcement of public preview of T-SQL Notebooks in Microsoft Fabric, and let's look at it. Let's read out what this article says. T-SQL Notebook is now in public preview. This update expands our language offering, allowing T-SQL developers to use Notebook for data warehousing development. You can manage the complex queries and document process with Markdown cells for better documentation. And as we know, Markdown cells are one of the best way to document it. Now with the ability to add data warehouse SQL analytics endpoint to the notebooks, user can run T-SQL directly on a connected warehouse or SQL analytics endpoints. BI analysts will benefit as well by performing cross-database queries to gather insights from different warehouses and SQL analytics endpoint. Most of the current notebook functionalities are readily available in T-SQL Notebook. For example, T-SQL developers can utilize extensive charting features to graphically represent their query outcome and work with the peers on co-authoring the notebooks via collaboration, and also schedule regular T-SQL notebooks with schedule or trigger execution with the data ingestion pipelines. And you have been given the steps which I'm going to show to you. And then there are certain stuff which has been given which is supported, like SQL editor can get familiar with the T-SQL template. On the context menu, first release, select top, create table, create as select, drop and create. How to run it? By clicking on the run button at the code cell, all T-SQL code within the cell will be executed under one SQL session. So whatever code is there, it is one SQL session for that particular cell. If you click run all, it will run all the code cells in the notebook. Each cell will be executed under new SQL session. Each cell is a new SQL session. So if you want a single SQL session for the set of statements, the set of SQL statements, you should put them under one cell. Within the same code cell, it might contain multiple lines of code. User can select part of these codes and only run the selected one. Each execution starts as a new SQL session. By expanding the message panel, you can check the summary of your execution. You can check out the messages and you will get a table tab. The table tab lists the records that has been written as a result set. If the execution contains multiple result set, you can switch from one to another view using drop down menu. So if you have more than one result, you will have a drop down menu and you can switch on that. You can use save as table menu to save the result of the query into table using ctest command. To use the menu, select the query text from the code cell and select save as table menu. And once you use the save as table, you will be asked for warehouse, schema and table name. Similarly, you can create a view from selected query using save as view menu from the cell command bar. Save as view. By clicking the inspect, you can see the charts representing data quality distribution for each column. So this is something which is new for us because we don't get these kind of charts in our T-SQL editors or our SQL editors or our SQL development tools. So we are going to get that now. Within this notebook, it is possible to create code cells using different languages. For instance, PySpark cell can precede a T-SQL cell. In such cases, user can choose to skip the run of any PySpark code for T-SQL notebook. So some cells are in different language, you can skip that. So time has come that we go ahead and create a T-SQL notebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on Microsoft Fabric. And for Microsoft Fabric, I'm using app.powerbi.com, which is the Power BI experience for Microsoft Fabric. Now inside this one, what I'll do is I'll open my common workspace using the workspace option on the left hand side. And inside that, I'm going to open 01 GA Fabric. Let me click on that. And in this workspace 01 GA Fabric, I'm going to create a new notebook. And how do we create a new notebook? So we have two options. We can go to the new items and then create. And previously we used to go to the lake house and there we have another option to create notebooks. We were using that. But in this case, I will go to new items. And this option has changed a little bit over a period of time. And now on the right hand side panel, you're going to get the new item option. So here the first option itself is get data, and inside that get data, you have option for notebook. You may have to scroll for that in case it is showing lesser items in your screen. Click on notebook. It will open a notebook, empty notebook with a name, which we can change by clicking on that. So that is the first thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to call it as T-SQL Notebook Demo. Let me press enter. Now you can see here, you can select lake houses and warehouses. You can click on a warehouse and click on the plus button in case it doesn't open the pop-up, and search for a warehouse. So I'll take warehouse 01 from this particular workspace, click on confirm, and this is the only one. So if there are more than one of them you have to set as primary. So let me add one more, warehouse 02. Now this warehouse 02 only contain views, but just wanted to showcase you when we have more than one. So now we have more than one, and you can see that, you know, I have schema, DBO tables here, and then I have schema, DBO and views here. I don't have any tables in the other one. So when I go to WH01 and click on this menu option, you don't see the primary warehouse option enabled, because this is the first one which got added and it became primary warehouse. But if I go to the second one, I can set up this as primary. Right now I just wanted to keep warehouse 01 as primary. Now I can click on any of this table 3 dots and use select 100 rows, create table as, select, drop and create. So let me click on this, select top 100 rows, and it has given me a code. Right now the notebook is Python notebook, which I doesn't want. Actually I want the complete notebook to be the T-SQL notebook. First I'm going to do here is I'm going to make it as a T-SQL notebook, and once I do that you start seeing errors here. So I'm going to make these cells which are already added as T-SQL cells. Now I have my first T-SQL inside my notebook and I would like to run that. Let me run my first select statement. So I've clicked on the run button, and this run button is going to run the first T-SQL statement for me, and I got the results in 8 seconds. And as you can see, I got a table, and this is the display. Those who are coming from the PySpark world, this is very similar to what you get in display, table, chart, save table as, download in various formats showing 1 of 100 record. Inspect is by default enabled here, if you can see here, and I can disable it and the charts will be gone. If I enable this, the charts will be visible. Another thing, I want to search something. Let's say I want to search 40, and entire data wherever we have 40, like you might be seeing, oh, okay, first 3 rows, these are item 40. No, there is 40 somewhere here in this cell, there's 40 somewhere here in the cell. So in the result, anywhere it can search. So that is something really good. We can look at the chart view. If you want to have some chart, we can customize some of the charts, like say bar chart, keys, order number. I can take, let's say, city ID. I have values as item ID. I can take, let's say, quantity. Series group I doesn't want. Aggregation I can have sum. So I selected city ID as key, quantity as values, aggregation and sum, and let me click on apply, and I am getting a different kind of data. So you can play around with the visuals. If you want to download the data, you can click on download as JPG, PNG and SVG. In case of you are looking at the chart, in case you are looking at table, the download options will change CSV, JSON and XML format. Save table as, to save the table, select the text of one of your select statements. So you can't simply save it like this, you have to click like this, and then you can save. It is going to create a table with this 100 records. So this statement has been given, create table as DBO, and if you give a name, let's say top 100 sales, and I can actually could have executed the same statement. This is what we do, create table name as, and this is how we give, and we can run it. And so just for the sample, let's create it. Okay, and it's creating a new table. It has created it successfully. That's what the message is displaying. And let me go ahead and refresh the tables, and you can see here top 100 sales table. Top 100 sales table is available here. I'll show you the way manually. If you wanted to do, you can go ahead and write it down, and I can say top 100 sales 1, and let me, instead of top 100, let me say sales 1. Hopefully I don't have a sales 1 table. Yes, I don't have, and I will remove this top 100. I can simply do it, and let me run this using the run cell. So another table is created. Let's refresh the tables on the left hand side and check it out. Yes, we have one more table, that is sales 1, which is at the bottom here. So in this manner, we are able to run the select statements here using the T-SQL notebook. We have created this new table sales 1 and we checked it out. Now what I would like to do is I would like to drop that table. I'm going to add a new cell here, and then I'm going to write down a statement which is drop table warehouse schema and table name, and if I don't use that, it will drop the table from the default schema. So let me run this statement, drop table name, and there is a message, the message saying total execution time, and one statement is executed. So let's see what happens. Do we still have the sales 1 table? So let me refresh the set of tables on the left hand side, and as you can observe, sales 1 table is no more available with us. Now what I've done is I created few statements for the analysis, and I've just pasted them, And this is created on my default schema, which I'm using many times, which I use in Power BI, which I use in Fabric. It uses sales table, geography table, item table, and customer table. And I do have a date table here in case I need that, but I'm just come up with these few select statement where I can run and showcase you that, you know, what are going to be the result of this. So now one of the things which we have learned, that we can run up one of the select statement out of many in one particular cell, and they will create one for each session. So what I'm going to do is I select one statement. I'm going to go to this down arrow, and here I have an option select selected code, and that's what I'm going to use, and it's going to run only one statement for me. As you can see, only I've got one result, and I'm able to see the data. And what is this select statement? So let's understand this select statement. So in this statement, I'm using two tables. First of all, I'm using sales table, which is joining, means inner join with the geography table on city ID, and the alias for sales is S, the alias for geography is G. Then I'm selecting city and state from geography table, and then I'm trying to get total gross and total COGS using the formula quantity multiplied by price is gross, quantity multiplied by cost is COGS. And then I'm grouping this data, and that's how I got this data: city wise, state wise, total gross, total COGS. Same way, I have one more query. Let me also run this. Now this is item category wise, which is coming from item table, which is I. Here in this case, joining with the sales table. Again, I'm doing an inner join here. Again, I'm going to use the run selected code, and I'll get an answer for my query. Category wise, total discount amount. My discount percentage is absolute discount percentage. I always divide it by 100 to get the absolute amount. Now what I'm going to do is, this time I'm not going to run another statement, but I'm going to run all these statements, and if you want, I can provide you this file to test it out. And all these tables you can load by watching my older videos, where I have given the GitHub link for this file using which I have loaded that, and I have a previous video where I loaded this warehouse one. So let me run all these statements. So let me run this cell itself now, and let's see how the result is going to come. Now result has come, and if you can see here on the result, I have multiple results here, and I got a drop down box where I can select the result. So result 1, result 2 you already seen. Let's see the result 3. So result 3 is brand wise total gross sales and total COGS, and result 4 is item name wise total gross sales. So these are the queries for that, and we are able to execute it. If required, let's download this. So click on download as CSV. The data got downloaded, and I can open that and check it out. It's opening on another window. Let me bring that here on this window, and as you can see, the same data got downloaded. So in this manner, if required, you can download the data of the result set and you can utilize that. I would now like to run some set of statements, and before I run that statement, I would like to document this. So first of all, let me add the documentation for this code using a markdown cell. When I hover below a cell or above a cell, I get this option for plus code or plus markdown. I'll click on plus markdown, and I got this documentation. It has a particular kind of syntax. If you know the markdown syntax, you can use that. Otherwise, at the bottom of the cell, you have been given the formatting option. You can use those and format your documentation so that user can understand what code you have written in this particular notebook. So this is the entire documentation that I'm creating a table, inserting a data, then I'm doing a select after insert, I'm doing an update, then again a select after update, deleting a data, after select after delete, insert more data, and finally selecting. I do have added one additional drop statement in this code, so which I'm going to showcase you. So first of all, I'm creating it and already tested it out. Identity column is not supported and primary key is still not supported on T-SQL. So those things remain as limitation, but with those limitation, let's go ahead and create out a table. And the syntax is create table, table name, and the column name and the data type, column name and the data type, column name and the data type, and column name and data type. It all should come between the parentheses, and finally we are closing it. So let me run this T-SQL statement. I am going to run the one selected one and run selected code. It's going to create a table for me. I can scroll down and see the message. Execution has completed and I got my table. Now I would like to insert, and along with insert, I would also like to select the data which I'm going to insert. So I'm going to run now two statements again. Click on the down arrow, run selected code. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me a table, and the message is actually something which is hidden. So I need to open it and check it out. The first message 3 row affected means the 3 rows are inserted. The second 3 rows affected means the 3 rows which has been shown to us because of the select statement. So in this manner, when I run multiple statements, I can open the message and check out what has happened. Now I have inserted 3 rows. I want to update one of those. Quantity, I want to update the quantity for the laptop, which is product name laptop, to price 900 and quantity 8. What is the price right now? So price for the laptop right now is 1000, quantity is 10. I want to update this with quantity 8 and price 900, and then I want to showcase the data again. So let me select these two statements and run it again. I'm again going to use unselected code using the down arrow. And in 2 seconds I got my result. The quantity has been updated, the price has been updated, and you can click on the selected cell to get the values on the right hand side in case you want to copy some of those. I want to delete and check out what happens after that. Simple 2 statement, run selected code, and I'm able to delete 1 row. I would like to add couple more rows. Again, I'm selecting this data and I'm running that. I'm able to insert couple of rows. Now before I drop, I would like to check whether the table exists here or not. So I will go to the left hand side pane, tables, refresh, just to check whether I have a product tables or not. As you can see on the top, I have products table which is available. And the final step, I'm going to drop this table now. Drop table, table name. Again, I'm going to use the selected code only. I'll execute that. It got deleted now. The message has come. Now let's go to the left hand pane, tables, refresh using 3 dots, and as you can see, there is no product table available. So you can run your various T-SQL statement in the T-SQL cells, and you can also properly document it. So I would like you to understand the difference, what you mean by a session. When we say the 2 statement, when you run together, they are creating a session, or when they are run across the cell, then they are not in the same session. What does that mean? So when I select and run, they are one session, then I run it again, then it's a different session. What does that mean? And the best example to understand is that is when we do an insert, then to know the row count. So what I'm going to do here is basically I'm going to use select row count. Now select row count can give me the row count of an insert, update, or a delete statement, but within the same session. If the session changes, it's not going to give me that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create the table again and going to insert that and check that out. For first time when we insert, we will run the select row @ row count along with the insert statement, and then we run it separately and check it out. So let me do that for you now. Okay, so let's start by creating a table. First of all, I selected this statement, go to the down arrow, run selected code, and it should create a table for me. Yes, it has created in 1 second. Now I'm going to run these 2 statements together, insert and select @ row count. Again, down arrow key, run selected code. And when I go down and it runs, it do show me 3. 3 is the outcome of the select statement. As you can see, 3 rows affected and 1 row affected. The second one is basically showing me 3 rows which has been inserted. Now the insert has already been executed, and as we know, we have run it together, so they are part of the session. Now when I'm going to run it, it is not part of that session. So let's go ahead and try that out. So I've selected that and run selected code, select @ row count. It is showing me 0 because now it has no idea what insert statement has run because it is not part of the same session. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the same thing in 2 different cells. When you run them together in a single cell, they are part of one session. When you run them separately in a single cell also, they are part of different session. Now, and when you run across different cells, that is also going to be part of different cells. So I'm going to create 2 cells and I'm going to run the statements. So I'm going to again insert the 3 rows into the table, and we got a message that 3 rows are inserted. And now let me run select @ row count, and it is giving me 0 because when I ran them in different cells, they are different sessions. So when I run them selected separately, they are in different session. When I run it across 2 cells, they are 2 different sessions. So now you would have understood what do I mean by session and why it is important. So sometime you will use this @ row count in checking, or when you say okay, these 2 statements should run together, then that is a session. So, and that's the difference I wanted to explain you, or what is the advantage when we say one cell is one session and more than one cell is a different session. So you understood now the difference, and now you can take care when you want to, what things you want to become a part of a single session. What are the advantages of sessions? And when you go into the T-SQL and you run a lot of those, you understand when you want to run particular things together in one session. So why don't you go ahead and try this out, and do let me know what else you want me to cover in this particular series. Thanks for watching this particular video. Thank you. Keep watching, keep asking questions in comments, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for new videos. Thank you.